a false witness that speaks lies, and he that sows discord among brothers. Proverbs chapter 6, verse 19. Causing division, God hates one who sows discord among brethren. Proverbs 6, verse 16 through 19. It was here on Southern University A&M College, Tuesday, November the 7th, on a human morning, 2018, when BRPD led to the arrest of yours truly, a first-degree assault. What you're seeing now is actual footage of the day of my arrest. This evidence was surrendered to me by the district attorney's office. Obviously, I'm being shackled. There's no audio actually dealing with this video, and you'll just kind of have to just watch for yourself and just get a clear idea of what took place that day. The day that I actually was arrested, I cross-examined each and every officer, the arresting officer with the most rank out there, who was Officer Mayer. They never saw any of these videos of the bus footage of this man actually attacking me. Arrest warrants were signed. Stuart Terrio, the district attorney, whose department is in charge of obtaining and retaining evidence. And as you can see, the video came without the audio, as you can tell. And this is just one of the main reasons why I motioned to dismiss this case, because the evidence is insufficient. It's invalid. Invalid evidence produces invalid witnesses, producing an invalid jury, concluding to an invalid trial in its totality. Yet, the district attorney felt it would be less confusing to drop one of the misdemeanor charges that I had, which was possession of marijuana. I was informed by the detective they found marijuana on me. And when I broke down the premises for my arrest being invalid based on insufficient evidence, Mr. Stuart Terrio, the district attorney, on record said that it was so confusing that he would just rather drop the marijuana and we would just focus on the first-degree assault. And they dropped it down to second-degree assault. But nevertheless, I was forced to bond out of prison, where I've currently been on bond now since 2018. And you won't be able to hear the audio. As you can see, they're allowing me to make phone calls. Read my Miranda rights, and basically we'll let the video speak for itself. And later in pretrial, the officer will provide a statement under oath, and I quote, "Mr. Green admitted to attacking the operator." And obviously the audio has been pulled from this video, which would once again allow me to cross-examine this statement in court, provided by the detectives, who has a reputation here in Baton Rouge Police Department for tampering with evidence. So this is the boldness of the corruption here, that we can just have arrest warrant signed and people life can be ruined, you should be detecting. You shouldn't just allow arrest warrants to be signed and you haven't done the proper detective work, unless it's a frame-up. And this was a frame-up from the beginning to the end. You never find out who's the real assailant in this case. You never find out who attacked who, because they destroyed and tampered with evidence. So you won't actually get to hear me maintain my innocence. You won't actually get to hear me cross-examine the officers. During the pretrial investigation, the detectives of BRPD provided a false statement, and I quote, "He admitted to attacking the bus driver. An invalid statement sworn under oath with invalid evidence sworn under oath by Sam Ritchie of Capital Area Transit System. Let's roll more evidence tampering on behalf of BRPD." There's a missing 12 minutes from the video from inside the cab of the bus from Scenic Highway to Florida Boulevard. There's 12 minutes missing in which the back door would be working efficiently, allowing passengers to be exiting off the back of the bus without a problem. The whole argument basically stemmed from the bus driver not allowing me to get off the back of the bus. This is what would have allowed me to further validate my frustration before a jury. However, Baton Rouge Police Department and the District Attorney's Office, Mr. Stuart Terrio, somehow mishandled this evidence, and it's missing 12 minutes of passengers making exits from the back of the bus. With 18 minutes after 5 o'clock to 5:35, it's obvious that there are missing 12 minutes from this video where the district attorney would show this before a jury to have me convicted for 8 years. This would further validate my frustrations and my argument with the bus driver, validating that the back door worked efficiently, letting several passengers off the bus during that 12 minutes that has been omitted from this video. These documents were sworn under oath by Sam Ritchie from Capital Area Transit System and the district attorney, who allowed this man to basically subpoena documents that was not requested. Of course, the Honorable Judge Bo Hickenbottom and District Attorney Stuart Terrio. But to no avail, my due process was completely undermined. And it's just time for someone to shed light to these things and bring some correction, some true correction to the justice system. And as you can see, since 2018, to no avail, I'm still currently on trial. July the 7th, what happened was the judge decided to withdraw himself over my case, meaning he's no longer presiding over my case. State of Louisiana versus yours truly. Court order. Judge Bo Hickenbottom, on his own motion, hereby issues this order of recusation from the above docket case. The recusation order is based on the fact that Judge Hickenbottom finds necessary to recuse given the recent developments of a confidential matter and to avoid the appearance of impropriety. It is hereby ordered that this matter be randomly reallocated to another section of court by the clerk of court. Baton Rouge, Louisiana, this 7th day of July 2021. And to no avail, my constitutional rights, once again, are not being honored. I had to formally file a proper motion to have this case dismissed, which never actually got honored by the judge in October. As I stated in the first video, the judge Hickenbottom, he decided that I needed to file motions to represent myself, which I did. He decided that I needed to see the sanity doctors, which I did. And after doing all of these things and being lied on, now he's just recused himself over my case. And I'm still left without the ability to have this case thrown out. It's been well over 70 days, which under the Constitution allows me to walk away free of all charges. Motions that were filed February the 8th, 2021. And I'll read. Dear Honorable Judge Bo Hickenbottom, I formally motion the Sixth Amendment right to proceed into pro se under the United States Constitution, Ferretta v. California, 422 U.S. 806, 1975, entitling himself the defendant actual control over the case of the present to the jury, and consequently standby counsel participation should not be allowed to destroy the perception that the defendant self is representing himself. Under the United States Constitution, the Sixth Amendment entitles that self-representation is the right to testify in one's own defense. Rock v. Arkansas, 483 U.S. 44, 1987. And it goes on to read, under the United States Constitution, the Sixth Amendment, right to proceeding pro se for speedy trial, 62888, Stat 2080, 1974, entitles the defendant self the commencement of a trial within 70 days of indictment, formally served on November the 6th, 2018, date of the arrest. Subsequently, motions were filed with the clerk of court October the 22nd, 2020 and November the 4th, 2020, concluding to the counsel's mishandling of favorable exculpatory evidence on behalf of the defendant self. I humbly submit this motion. And as you can see, July 7th, nothing was tossed out, and the judge just walks away.
An arrest warrant has now been issued for one BRPD narcotics officer that's in the center of an internal investigation.
I sat in on today's news conference as Chief Murphy Paul explained this ongoing investigation.
When the public's trust is violated, it is unacceptable.
A former Baton Rouge detective is facing more charges as a corruption probe continues.
To be clear, we led the investigation that resulted in the arrest.
Jason Eckrey resigned after his arrest for stealing marijuana from an evidence room.
The charges were malfeasance in office and possession with intent to distribute marijuana.
He was arrested a second time for obstruction of justice, and now he's accused of lying to investigators and falsifying records.
Since then, the audit team found some irregularities during their review, and as of today, an active arrest warrant was issued for the arrest of Mr. Eckrey again.
These new details are a part of a larger investigation into BRPD's narcotics division. Parts of the investigation released so far describe officers planting drugs, stopping black people without probable cause, and using prostitutes to set up drug dealers. And this investigation has caused a widespread effect.
The last count was around 120 or 125 defendants were impacted by this. Those cases were either dropped or dismissed.
There are now 5 criminal investigations, and the chief says there's no room for this behavior.
Baton Rouge, don't let the actions of a couple of rogue individuals force you to lose faith in the majority of our officers who want to get it right for you.
Eckrey has not yet turned himself into the authorities. Now the department is auditing the entire narcotics division. We're told it could take months to complete and will look into overtime spending practices.
So, once again, the title of this video, who's next?